Shalom, 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 brothers and sisters from all across the four corners of the earth. We're glad to have you here today on this Sabbath with us. We're glad to be back. Elder, how you feeling?
Feeling great. Shalom, everybody.
We're here from an undisclosed location, each of us. We're not together right now, but we will be again soon. But first and foremost, we want to give all thanks and praise to the Most High, Ahaya, Bahashem Yeshaya, Wa. For those who do not speak the Hebrew, that is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And for those who think that the Son's name is Jesus, you are sadly mistaken. That is a Greek name. Christ had a Hebrew name for all of those who may be watching that are from the Christian church and may not have heard that before. And when we say Ahaya, that is the name that was given to Moses in Exodus chapter 3, verse 14, where he said, when I go to my people, they know a lot of Egyptian gods' names, right? They know Ra, they know Tammuz, they know all of these Egyptian gods. He said, when I say that the God of their fathers have sent them, they're going to ask me what the name is. And he said, tell them Ahaya sent you. And he said, since they don't know my name, give them the memorial. Tell them that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob have sent me unto you. Right? So the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya. I am that I am. Okay?
All right.
We want to welcome all of the new subscribers to the channel. If you're new to the channel, put a 1 in the chat. It's been a lot since we last went live. We told y'all there was going to be a lot happening these next couple of weeks, and there was going to be exponential growth of the body and of the church. That's right. We've made a lot of changes. We've added a lot of different things to what we're doing, and now we're starting to see the brothers and sisters come in. So welcome, brothers and sisters. We're glad to have you. All praise to the Most High for that. Round of applause for those who are coming in.
That's right.
All right. So
1,000 subscribers.
1,000.
Don't forget
yes.
that. 1,000 finally.
We went from 800 last week to 1,000 in how many? 5-6 days?
Somewhere around in there, about a week or so, something like that.
And people are still coming in. People are starting to wake up to who they are, not only to who they are, but finding the truth. And I was just talking about this with one of the brothers in the church, is people believe that this truth is just finding out who you are, right? But understand, when this doctrine came out, when the children of Israel when Christ came and brought the true doctrine, that was the truth. They knew back then that they were Israelites, right? Now, so the truth, there's some truth in being an Israelite, but the truth is understanding Christ and his doctrine and what the Most High is coming to do. So all praise to the Most High. We're excited to be here. I got all this energy. I was just nervous a second ago, but I feel great. All right. So everyone who's watching, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe to the lesson, okay? All of this helps the algorithms bring more people in, and we want to have a lot of people watching this lesson today, because I'm sure you guys saw the thumbnail, and I know you saw the title, and you're excited to see what we're going to be going into today. For those who would like to tithe and donate to the work, we are traveling here and there in these next couple of months. We're going to be handing out postcards. We're going to be baptizing. We're going to be teaching. We're going to be feeding the hungry. If you would like to support this work and support this ministry, bring your portion to what we're doing here. We're going to be doing a lot of work for the brothers and sisters all across the world. So if you would like to support that work, even if it's 99 cents, $2, $3, whatever you have to support this work, we have our Cash App right here for tithes and donations. If you're a part of the work and you would like to send your tithes to us, that's right here. And we'll get more into that a little bit later. But for baptism, if you're looking to be baptized into the body, you'd like to find a body near you, reach out to us through the website right here, houseofjudah.com, or you can go right here to our email, houseofjudah.elders@aol.com. Send a message. That'll go directly to the elder. Let us know where you're at. And let us know where you're at and who you are, and we'll see if we can get something set up to get brothers and sisters baptized into the work, into this body, and into this ministry, okay? Now, right. Elder, do you have any update? Oh, shalom to our brothers and sisters, our body over there in Freetown, Sierra Leone. We know that they're doing their lesson over there right now, but they're going to be tuning in here in a little bit. Elder Michael and the brothers and sisters over there, shalom, we salute you. Thank you for doing the work. The brothers and sisters in the Philippines that are watching from there, the brothers and sisters in New Zealand, Australia, shalom, we'll be there very, very, very soon. Okay.
That's right.
So, Elder, do you have anything?
No, sir.
All right. So, jumping into it. Last week, we went into the 7 churches of the apocalypse in the last lesson that we did, okay? And we went into what the 7 churches were, what the apocalypse looked like, what took place during that particular time period. But one thing that we never went into is the apocalypse. Mm-hmm. Where does the apocalypse start? what happens leading up to the apocalypse. And what you're going to find is that where a lot of the people viewing from right now, where you are, is it starts with you. It starts in the United States.
That's right.
Elder, go ahead and throw up the thumbnail for us.
One moment.
Today's lesson, what we're going to be going into, is the fall of America at the hands of Iran. Again, I'm going to say this again. The fall of America at the hands of Iran. Right? And a lot of you are probably like, nah, that don't make sense. No way. No way America falls to Iran. We're the most powerful nation on earth. Have you seen our military? This is not a judgment of man, brothers and sisters. This is an act of God.
Con.
And you're going to see everything that's taking place right now that we're going to go into in these slides and that we're going to go through in these slides. We want to make sure that you all have a visual, that you can actually see what we're going to be pulling up here. So follow this lesson very, very closely. And we're going to take our time so that way you can see exactly the way this thing falls out and the way everything unfolds. Understand? So let's pull up the PowerPoint presentation. Put a 1 in the chat if you're following us, by the way. I want to hear from you. This is going to be very interactive. All right. The fall of America at the hands of Iran. We're going to give you step by step everything that happens leading up to the destruction of Babylon and afterward. All right. Let's jump right in. We're going to start at Isaiah chapter 47, verse 1. Okay.
One moment.
Who is
Isaiah
Babylon?
chapter.
Who is Babylon in Isaiah chapter 13 talking about, right? We're going to get into Isaiah chapter 13 here in a couple of slides. But who is the Babylon in Isaiah chapter 13? Because a lot would say, oh, Jeremiah is living during this time. They're saying, oh, Jeremiah, the Babylonian captivity. This is what it's talking about. No. These prophecies double as future prophecies. Remember, the scriptures say nothing. The scriptures say that there's nothing new under the sun. What's happening now has happened before. That's why Christ says, as in the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. These kind of things have happened before, but this right here is the most major captivity the children of Israel have ever been into. And because it's the most major captivity, because it's the largest and most powerful nation that has ever existed in the earth's history, the Most High has to do something a little bit different here. Isaiah chapter 47, Elder.
Isaiah chapter 47, verse 1, starting at verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
Sit on the ground, there is no throne.
Mm-hmm.
O daughter of the Caldeans,
Mm-hmm.
for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
So he says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Notice how it doesn't say here Babylon. It says the daughter of Babylon. This is referring back to Isaiah chapter 13, which, like I said, we're going to get into here in a moment. That clearly tells us that it's referring not to ancient Babylon, but a country that would come later on that has modeled itself after ancient Babylon. This is a new kingdom. He says, sit on the ground, there is no throne. You're going to see exactly what this means here in a minute when you see the fate of what's going to happen to Babylon. So here, starting out, we're establishing that the Babylon that not only that Isaiah is talking about, but what Jeremiah is referring to is not talking about ancient Babylon, but rather a future country. Let's jump to the next slide. Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. Who is this Babylon that Jeremiah and that Isaiah are seeing? Keep in mind, this is not something that they're reading about. This is not something that they're being told. This is something that the Most High is showing them in a vision, just like he's showing John the Revelator. Let's get Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. Read along with us here.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
He had 7 heads and 10 horns. Read.
And upon his horns 10 crowns,
And upon his horns 10 crowns. Read.
and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 2. The beast which I saw was like unto a leopard.
It
and
was
his
like
feet,
unto a leopard. What is it referring to here? It's referring to the 4 beasts of Daniel, right? You had the Greek captivity, which came in the form of a leopard. That means that it took parts of the Greek captivity, this beast. Read.
and his feet were like the feet of a bear.
His feet were like the feet of a bear. The bear was the Persian Mede captivity. So now they've adopted parts of the Greek captivity and they've adopted parts of the Persian Mede captivity. Read.
And his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
In his mouth as the mouth of a lion. The Babylonian captivity. Read.
And the dragon gave him his power.
Who is the dragon? That old serpent called the devil. So this powerful beast that will rise at the end has 7 heads, 10 horns, and upon its horns 10 crowns. Follow us here, right? And it's taken parts of all the previous captivities, but what gives this beast its power? Lucifer. The people who would be leading this assault on the righteous through this beast would be the serpent's seed. Amalek, brothers and sisters. Read.
I'm back up.
We're just setting the stage here. Read.
I'm going to back up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And the dragon gave him his power.
And the dragon gave him his power. Read.
And his seat.
And his seat.
And great authority.
And great authority. Brothers and sisters, when you see these people sitting in these positions with all this power in the earth, understand it's not them. There's a spirit behind them, just like the king of Tyrus, right? Read.
Verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death.
Mm-hmm.
And his deadly wound was healed.
And his deadly wound was healed.
And the world wondered after the beast.
And all the world wondered after the beast. They said this beast, one of the heads were destroyed, but yet somehow it's returned. And we're going to see that this same beast never died. It changed its form. It adapted. The people who survive are the ones that change. You can't be who you were yesterday and expect to survive tomorrow. That's why we learn. That's why we grow. That's why we age. That's why gray hairs begin to show up on our heads. This last beast understood that in order for it to survive, in order for it to maintain its power, it had to change. So let's break down these 7 heads and 10 horns. So the 7 heads, according to Revelation chapter 17, verse 9, are 7 mountains. Go ahead and read that trip advisor, Elder.
One moment. TripAdvisor. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The 7 hills of Rome are Palestine Hill,
Mm-hmm.
Aventine Hill,
Aventine Hill.
Capitoline Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Caldean Hill?
Yep.
Echoline Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Venmenio Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And Coronel Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Each of these hills was a separate settlement and eventually came together from early Roman kingdom.
So we see that the only nation that held power of those 4 beasts that sat on 7 mountains was the Roman Catholic Church, the Roman Empire. What was once the Roman Empire and became what we know as today the Holy See or Vatican City. 7 mountains, brothers and sisters. Follow us here. So we know that the 7 mountains are the 7 hills of Rome. Huh? So who now are those 10 horns? Let's go to the next slide. So it says Rome is the 7 heads or the 7 mountains. Who are the 10 horns or the crowns, the crown on each horn who are the 10 kings? Now, some people have different ideas of what this list looks like. And the reason for that is because you have to look at what the map originally looked like prior to today's map. A lot of the countries that we see in Europe were not separate, but they were together at one point. Okay, follow us here. The 10 horns are Great Britain, Spain, France, Germany. Now, Germany, the Netherlands. Now, keep in mind, at one point, the Netherlands included not only Belgium, but also Luxembourg. So they were originally a part. That was originally one state, one country. You have Austria-Hungary, which included Croatia and Czechoslovakia. You have North Africa, which included Egypt, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, and Libya. All of those were originally one state. 8th, you have Turkey. 9th, you have Greece. And 10th, you have Switzerland. Those are the 10 kings as they originally were. Now, when we see this begin to develop, these countries are very important because these are the very 10 kings that once all power goes back to Rome, they will be the 10 kings once again. And we're going to show you why this is important. Don't worry, we're just setting the stage. Right? So the 10 horns or the 10 kings are these 10 countries right here. Now, if you look at the map that we have from 117 AD, this shows the Roman Empire in its entirety, the amount of ground that it covered, including the land of Israel, which we lost. So these are all the areas that the Roman Empire conquered prior to becoming the Roman Catholic Church. And all of these countries play an integral role in the fall of Babylon. And we'll show you why here in a moment. Let's go to the next slide. We're just setting the stage here, brothers and sisters. Daniel chapter 7, verse 24. How do the 10 horns relate to the daughter of Babylon?
Daniel chapter 7, verse 24. You ready for that?
Yes, sir.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 24. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are the 10 kings that shall rise.
So what Daniel is doing is he's confirming what we read about in the previous book, and we're reading from Revelation chapter 13. He says that the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings. Those are 10 countries. Read.
And another shall arise after them.
And another shall arise after them. So Daniel says that after these 10 kings, there will arise another king, an 11th king. Read.
And he shall be diverse from the first.
He shall be diverse from the first. That means that he's different from all the other kings. This king isn't like the others. He's more powerful. He's more cunning. Well, she's more powerful. She's more cunning. Read.
And he shall subdue 3 kings.
Subdue 3 kings. Keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. Read.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws.
And think to change times and laws. You're wondering why we're in 2024 and that's offline with the scriptures? It's because when the Roman Catholic Church came and when they began to build their new system, they introduced a new calendar, a new clock that would thrust us more than 300, according to them, years into the future, more around 250 years into the future. It says that they'll wear out the saints of the Most High. That means that the children of Israel will go through slavery and political destruction through colonization. Not only colonization, but slavery as well. Israel would be slaves to this king until their destruction, until this king's destruction. Read.
One moment. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
We're going to go into that allotment of time a little bit later here in this particular lesson. So it says here in all, it says the 10 horns, there were originally 10 horns. And with the subduing of 3 horns, there arose a little horn, right? An 11th king. We're showing you who Babylon is. For those who say, oh, well, Babylon isn't America. We're showing you how Babylon is America here. What are the prophecies concerning this particular country? Okay, let's go to the next slide. Let's show you who those 3 kings were. Now remember, 3 of those kings that we read about, that we studied, were Great Britain, Spain, and France. Now 3 of these countries would go into creating what we know today as the United States. This map that we show you was the original allotment of the United States, the way it was divided prior to the English settlers purchasing or conquering the rest of the land. So we see here that the southwest area belonged to Spain, and the central part of the country belonged to France, while the east coast belonged to the English. The 11th king is the United States of America, and the 3 kings that were subdued were France, Spain, and Great Britain. Each of these countries, meaning Spain, France, and Great Britain, were either defeated in war or were bought out to create the nation we know today, who would enact some of the most cruel and famous acts of slavery against the tribe of Judah in modern history. Wear out the saints of the Most High, subdue 3 kings. And brothers and sisters, understand the height and the power of these 3 nations prior to the creation of the United States of America. Spain, France, and Great Britain were arguably 3 of the greatest superpowers in the entire earth prior to the creation of the United States. It was the creation of the United States that damaged Great Britain to an irreparable length. It was the establishment of the United States of America that made Spain one of the secondary nations as far as travel and trade and gold and riches. Right? All of these countries took steps backward so that the United States could step forward. Let's go to the next slide. So now that we've established that the daughter of Babylon is the United States of America, 10 horns, 3 horns subdued, little horn. Now we must establish who the Medes are, because that's who Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17 says will destroy Babylon. So we know that Babylon is the United States. So who is the nation that is prophesied to destroy the United States? Let's get Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17. We promised we'd be going here.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them,
Mm-hmm.
which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
Don't care about your money. I don't care. They don't care about anything that you got. We'll give you this agreement, that agreement. We'll give you oil. We'll give you money. Nah, they said I don't care about that. I don't give 2 squats about that. Read.
Their bows shall dash the young men to pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and they shall have no pity for the fruit of the womb.
And they shall have no pity for the fruit of the womb. They are going to be destroying everyone. They don't care about children. They don't care about women. They don't care about the elderly. The Most High is going to stir these people up to be completely and totally ruthless against the daughter of Babylon because of the sins that she committed against his people. Who are the Medes? Let's get Britannica. the Media ancient region, Iran.
Media, ancient country of northwestern Iran, generally corresponding to the modern regions of
Azerbaijan.
What's that?
Azerbaijan.
Okay, all right. Kurdistan and parts of Kermanshah.
And parts of Kermanshah. So this was the original region that made up Media. And Persia was made up when Persian Media was created when Iraq and Iran came together. That was the Persian Mede Empire. So we have a prophecy coming from Isaiah. We have a prophecy coming from Jeremiah. We have a prophecy coming from Daniel. And we have a prophecy coming from Revelation, all saying that the United States would fall at the hands of Iran. The scriptures say that through thy precepts I get understanding. That's a whole lot of precepts, brothers and sisters. So anyone who believes, oh no, the Most High is going to save America. Anyone who says, oh, the Most High is going to deliver us, that he's going to send the ships to come and pick us up out of America. The Most High says, deliver thyself out of the midst of Babylon. He ain't coming to get you. Ain't nobody coming to pick you up. So we've established who the Medes are. We've established who Babylon is. Now we can begin setting the stage. Put a 1 in the chat if you're following me. We got a couple of people in here. Like, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the lesson. We're about to get into the thick of it now that we set the stage. Let's go to the next slide. This is the original map of the Persian Mede Empire. And the image that you see in the lower left corner of your screen is the Persians, what they look like. Black people, right? I thought all the Israelites were black. For those people, y'all might have made a mistake and thought that those were Israelites. Nah. So this is the ancient map of the Persian Mede Empire. But let us show you what the updated map of the Persian Mede Empire looks like. Let's go to the next slide. This is what the Persian Mede Empire looked like today. Interesting, right? Oh, I thought Egypt was against Iran. Used to be. I thought Turkey was against Iran. I thought Armenia was against Iran. Used to be. What you're going to find when we start going through the news and showing you guys what's going on in the world that you haven't been paying attention, brothers and sisters, what the Most High is doing is he's stirring up the Medes. And what they're doing is they're going and gathering all the nations that they were allied with back when they were at their height to come together and destroy the daughter of Babylon. What you guys are going to realize after this lesson is that Iran's a lot bigger than it was 4 years ago. They've got friends. And they've got friends with firepower. Lots of it. Let's go to the next slide here. This is an article that we have. It's the U.S. support for Israel and the risk of international isolation. What does this mean? Remember, the United States for the last 25 years have been allied with Israel in all war efforts. Hence why we send them $7 billion a year. Right? Anytime Israel creates trouble, no, not gets in trouble, they create trouble. Hence why Biden yesterday sanctioned Israelis. Just yesterday, he sanctioned militaristic Israelis in West Palestine. So even the United States, the U.S. government understands that Israel is the aggressors. But Donald Trump in his previous what do you call it? his previous 4 years in office, established on day one that they would be partnered with Israel in all war efforts going forward. And because of this, they've caused international isolation from their allies. Right? They set themselves in direct opposition to Iran and their allies. So we're starting to see a division being created here, a chasm, if you will. The United States is cutting off their friends. See, what the United States doesn't realize is that the ones who have been holding the United States up is not the United States, but rather the 10 horns. Remember, who gave the beast its power? Lucifer. The dragon. The dragon only cares about Rome, the fourth beast. He doesn't care about the United States. The United States was a tool. And you're going to see by the end of this lesson that it was a tool to heal the wound of the Roman Catholic Church, that deadly wound. It helped them transform. So now we see that it's the conflict between Israel and Iran that is going to draw the United States into a foreign international conflict with Iran. So for all those wondering, how do we get roped into this whole thing in the Middle East? This is how. Next slide. Put a 1 in the chat if you're following us here. Setting the stage. How does this happen? We're going to be going into here in these next couple of slides what's taking place now that leads up to the steps towards the fall towards Israel. Okay? We're going to start first in Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 14. Let's go to the next slide. It appears that the elder, it appears that the slideshow is a little, for some reason, it's a little off. Is this the updated slideshow presentation?
It's the updated one. You called for Jeremiah 51?
Come.
Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 14. The Lord of hosts has sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men, as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee.
Okay, so let's establish this first. Hey, y'all, the devil's busy. for all those who are watching, send your prayers. The devil is busy. He's trying to stop what we're doing here, but he can't. All right. They're trying to disturb. Don't worry. We know half of this link is cut off, but I'll read it to you. Good thing I have it here in front of me. We're gonna keep it pushing. All right. So Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 14, the Most High says that he will fill Babylon with men. He will fill the United States with men as with caterpillars. So everybody's saying, what does caterpillar mean? That word does not translate as caterpillar. In Hebrew, it translates as locust. It translates as locust. Right? Read, Elder.
That's it for that.
The second half, and they shall what?
There's no second half, and here it just goes to Jeremiah.
Where it says, and they shall lift up.
Okay, sorry about that. And they shall lift up a shout against thee. And
they shall lift up a shout against thee. So let's examine what makes locusts so detrimental. All right. Orkin.com says locust swarms are infamous for their ferocity, feeding on agricultural crops, trees, and other plants. In fact, this feeding can devastate crops and grasses grown for people and livestock, causing famine, starvation in communities that depend on their crops for survival. Sound familiar, brothers and sisters? The Most High said that he's going to send an influx of men into the United States that are going to consume all of the resources of the land. Check out this first article that we have posted here from the New York Times. It says, for people fleeing war, The U.S. immigration fight has real life consequences. Has anybody else been here? Has anybody else been seeing on the news millions and millions of people flooding into the United States from Ukraine, from Afghanistan, from Central and South America? All of these foreigners, all of these people flooding into the land. And what is Joe Biden doing for them? What's President Biden doing for them? He's giving them the benefits that once belonged to black people, giving them welfare, giving them food stamps, giving them loans, taking out loans to support these people, removing our people from the housing that we had in our inner cities and moving them into our previous homes, putting our people out there on the street. What are they doing? The Most High is sending in migrants. He's sending in immigrants to flood Babylon. To do what? This feeding can devastate crops and grasses grown for people and livestock, causing famine and starvation in communities that depend on their crops for survival. Brothers and sisters, they're being brought in strategically to create and cause famine within the United States. If you don't believe me, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 37. Check this out.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 37. A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her. And they shall become as women, and the sword is upon her treasures, and they shall not be robbed.
It says, and the sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. There's a correlation here, brothers and sisters. When you look at that word mingled people in the Hebrew, it comes out to H6154, meaning mixed multitude, stranger, alien, or foreigner. I told y'all I was going to show y'all something. Put a 1 in the chat if you're following me here. See, everything that's happening in this earth and everything that is occurring in this earth is on purpose. The Most High planned this. So specifically in this time, the land would be filled with foreigners from all over the world, taking advantage of not only the resources, but primarily the resources that belong to the children of Israel, mainly the tribe of Judah. Taking advantage of our civil rights, the civil rights money that was set aside for us that we didn't know about. Taking advantage of the food stamps, taking advantage of the loans that we don't have access to. Doing what? Just draining the system. How many of you have noticed the inflation? How many of you noticed that the dollar that you had yesterday isn't worth the same amount today? Why do you think that is? The more money they print, the less value, with nothing to back it, the less value the financial system has. The influx of men that will enter Babylon will soak up all of its resources like food, water, benefits, and most importantly, money in the treasury. Why is that important? Because what does it say? It says a sword is upon her treasures. The United States is being robbed blind. And these people are going to take this money. You're going to see here in a minute. They're going to take this money and they're going to leave right before the destruction comes. The foreigners, brothers and sisters. Oh, y'all thought that the United States was just so courteous and kind as to bring those people from those war-ridden countries, those poor, unfortunate white folk from Ukraine. Come on now. See, those poor, unfortunate white folk from Ukraine, but what about the brothers and sisters in Ukraine that weren't allowed to leave? What is the United States doing for them? I recall seeing a video where a sister was trying to get onto the train that was leaving and they physically kicked her off. Oh, but they care about Ukraine. Brothers and sisters, this ain't about Ukraine. This ain't about Afghanistan. This ain't about war-ridden countries. This is about the strategic destruction of Babylon. He said, bring in all the foreigners. Let them use up all your resources, and they're going to leave with them. And what's that going to leave the people left in the United States with? Nothing. Even check this out. USA Today says Biden fast tracks work authorization for migrants who cross legally. He's fast tracking their citizenship. AP News says join the military and become a U.S. citizen. Yes. Remember when we talked about those foreign militaries are going to be in the streets? People that aren't even from America in our streets to quote unquote protect America. And lastly, brothers and sisters, keep in mind, this is going to come up a little bit later. It's just so surprising that the devil wanted to cut off half of this article. CNN says Elon Musk says that his Neuralink startup has implanted its first chip in its first human brain. I'm going to read that again. How many of you guys seen this? How many of you guys seen this in the news? CNN, Elon Musk says his Neuralink startup has implanted a chip in its first human brain. Put a 2 in the chat if you've never seen this before. If you didn't know about this. Yeah. And all of these things have to do with one another. Because when that treasury is drained, when the resources are gone, brothers and sisters, that's called an economic collapse. And they're going to roll out a solution. Y'all following me here? Let's get the next let's get Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 14. Next slide. Actually, Salakia.
Jeremiah 50.
Chapter 50 verse 9, Salakia.
Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country.
So once again, this is a preliminary. So the United States is being flooded with foreigners that are eating and taking up all the resources like locusts, right? And then it says the next prerequisite is what? Read that one more time.
For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country.
An assembly of great nations from the north country. Read.
And they shall set themselves in array against her.
And they shall set themselves in array against her. For those who do not know what array means. Array means to organize yourself in a strategic positioning for war. That's what array means. It's to set yourself in a strategic positioning. Read.
From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain.
So the Most High tells Jeremiah to show the people that an assembly of great nations from the north country, namely the Persian Medes, as we've seen in Isaiah chapter 13, would set themselves in a strategic positioning for war against her. Why is this important? We're going to show you here in a couple minutes why the strategic positioning is important. The Most High also states that they will begin to fire upon her with perfect aim, and none of their weapons will miss or be fired without reason. It says that, read that last part of that verse again. It says their arrows.
One moment. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man.
It says their arrows shall be of a mighty expert man. Who else was described this way? The tribe of Benjamin with the sling, where it said that they were able to hit a hair hit something the length of a hair from a distance with their sling. That's how accurate they were. So not only are these nations from the North Country setting themselves up in strategic positionings to go to war with the United States, but they're also calculating exactly where to hit to do the most damage. And guess what? He said, none shall return in vain. Not one missile that's fired is going to be fired for either no reason or without maximum impact. They've been planning this for a long, long time. The nations who will set themselves in array. Let's go to the next slide, and we're going to bounce back to this one to show, brothers and sisters. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, the devil is busy, y'all. So you see here, let's get context as to what the North Country is, okay? So you see Jeremiah's birthplace there, right? Jeremiah was born in Jerusalem, right? And you see Jeremiah's death place. Where did he die? He died in Egypt. So that means that all of Jeremiah's life was spent in kingdoms south of the daughter, was spent in kingdoms south of the Persian Medes. Follow me here. The Persian Medes were always north of Jerusalem. That means that the people that he says are coming from the north are the Persian Medes, which is Iran, Iraq, Syria, and what you're going to find out is that Turkey and Russia have jumped on the bandwagon too. So that means all of the north have set themselves against. See that little tiny blue speck on the coast there, that look where Jeremiah's birthplace points? That entire area in the north is against Israel. And because the U.S. has used their military on behalf of Israel, they've set themselves against the land of the north. Let's go back to the previous slide and get Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7.
Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
He says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. Read.
The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee.
He said, the men that were at peace with you have deceived you. So Esau, Amalek, they believe that they're safe. They believe they're comfortable. Why? Because they have their alliances to lean on. Oh yeah, I got France, I got Spain, I got Great Britain, I got all these European nations. But what America doesn't realize is that those same countries want their power back. See, those same countries that were allied with the United States understand that only by the fall of the United States will they get the power that they had when they were the 10 kings back. America's allies will begin to turn against her, and those who she thought was at peace with her, all the while wanted her to fall. Think about it. You got a friend, right? And you think that this person is your friend. You take him places. You do things for him. It's like, hey, man, this is my homie, my home dog. And the entire time you find out the second you get an enemy, you look up and they're no longer standing behind you. They're standing behind them. And what you didn't realize is that the entire time they were only with you to get what they could get from you. And now that they realize they can't get anything else from you, they have set themselves against you. They're sending their citizens over into the United States. Get your fast track citizenship. Take advantage of those of the civil rights money. Take advantage of the welfare and build businesses and eat up all the resources of the United States, then come back home. And once we've deprived the United States of all of their resources, now we can go to battle. They're not strong enough anymore. Strangers have devoured the United States strength, and they know it not. He said, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. Remember, the United States is isolating itself from its allies. We've seen that in the first article. Read.
Going to back up a little bit. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee.
They have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. Read.
They that eat thy bread have
Whoa! Read that part again.
They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee.
They have laid a wound under thee. Look at that. Remember those mingled people that would come in like locusts and destroy and break down the economy by eating all the food, drinking all the water, using up all the financial resources? He said that they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. They were coming into your country. Oh, yeah, don't worry about it, Canada. You can come in when all you need is a passport. Don't worry about it, UK. You can come in. All you need is a passport. Oh, okay, refugees from all these countries that are our allies, come on in. We'll give you refuge. Meanwhile, the entire time, they're sending these people to drain them of all their resources. They're going to recall their people back to their land and say, look, Babylon is weak. Read.
There is none understanding in them.
There is none understanding in them. Keep in mind, brothers and sisters, keep this in mind. People are probably wondering why. The majority of the 10 horns are indeed the United States' allies. These allies, or these countries, want power that the United States took from them when it was created. These 10 kings had to take they were the most powerful countries in the entire earth, but they had to take a step back when Babylon, when the United States was created. All they want is their power back. But keep in mind, you can't get your power back without getting a return on investment, right? We invested this much into Babylon. Therefore, we're going to take double the amount back. And then we'll destroy it. Read. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 27. Remember, through the United States' fall, all power goes back to Rome for a short space, meaning that the 10 horns will rule the earth once more before Christ's return. This is all they want. They could care less whether they're allies with the United States. There is none understanding in him. Read.
Jeremiah chapter 51, starting at verse 27. Set up a standard in the land. Blow the trumpet among the nations. Prepare the nations against her.
Prepare the nations against her. Jeremiah is getting into the thick of it now. He's saying, set yourselves up to go to war and destroy Babylon. Read.
Call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat, Mini, and Ashkenaz.
So now he puts out direct names of the countries that would ally themselves with Iran for the destruction of the United States. Brothers and sisters, Ararat is modern-day Turkey. Mini, or Manai, is modern-day Armenia. And lastly, Ashkenaz, many might not know, Ashkenaz is the ancient Netherlands, which included West Germany, but mainly Belgium and Luxembourg. Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. What's that, brothers and sisters? Isn't that one of the 10 kings? Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg, aren't those one of the... Oh, isn't Turkey one of the 10 kings? Interesting. So we're seeing three of the 10 kings setting themselves up against the nation they helped to create. All of these countries are a part of or aligned with the 10 horns. These nations will join Iran and their allies to bring desolation to Babylon. People are saying, nah, no way. Elder, go forward 2 slides. No way that these countries will align themselves with Iran. Iran doesn't have that kind of friendship. Oh, but you're wrong. Just 2 days ago, from the Middle East Monitor, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Ethiopia, Iran, and Egypt confirmed that they are joining BRICS, a Eastern alliance to combat the Western world's alliance. Those who don't know who's already in BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, United Arab Emirates, Venezuela, Turkey, and Cuba are all allies of Iran. And people are thinking, that's it? That's all there is? No. That's not all there is. I'll show you in a second. Because there are also other nations that have applied to join BRICS, but haven't been approved yet. And when I show you where they are, brothers and sisters, you are going to be shocked at how much opposition the United States actually has. Daily Mail UK says Russia and China warned against cycle of retaliation as Biden threatens to target their ally, Iran, after drone attack killed 3 U.S. soldiers. China and Russia say, y'all better not strike back. South Africa's president said that detaining Vladimir Putin would mean they were declaring war on their alliance. Yes, this is not only an economic alliance, it is a military alliance, brothers and sisters. That means that all of these countries, if one of them get attacked, all of them are coming to the defense of that country. VOA News says why Iran's growing influence in Venezuela challenges the West. Why do you think? You think the U.S. wants Iran's military, an Iranian military post that close to them? How about Cuba? How many of y'all know it only takes 45 minutes to fly from the United States to Cuba? You think they want Iran's military in Cuba? Speaking of, VOA News says Iran and Cuba seek closer ties to confront the U.S. sanctions. Yes, Cuba has now aligned themselves with Iran. Now, keep in mind, if you hadn't looked at the news in the last 5 days, you wouldn't have seen this. These are all things developing right now as we speak. All these countries have aligned with Iran or have begun to make partnerships with them. And Putin even has begun to suggest late in January, that means that only a week ago, he was suggesting that they begin the placement of nuclear missiles in Cuba. You heard that correctly. Vladimir Putin suggested to the leaders of China and Iran of moving nuclear weapons to Cuba. 45-minute flight from the United States, brothers and sisters. 45 minutes. Why do you think the United States wanted Alaska so bad, brothers and sisters? They wanted Alaska because Alaska borders Russia. They couldn't have Russia take over Alaska and be that close to them. Put a 1 in the chat if you're following where we're going here. Let's go to the next slide. I'm going to show y'all something that's going to shock you. Keep in mind, brothers and sisters, this is an old map. This is visualizing the 2023 BRICS expansion. We just talked about BRICS. Now, look at this map here. So red are people that are already members. Blue are the new members. And yellow are the people that have applied to be members of BRICS. Does anybody see something dangerous about this alliance? Look at that. Argentina has now joined BRICS. Venezuela has applied to join BRICS. Cuba has applied to join BRICS. Multiple countries throughout Southeast Asia have applied to join BRICS. Scary, isn't it? Not for the righteous. This is why we do these lessons, brothers and sisters, so that you know, and the brothers and sisters know what the Most High's commandment is. For all those who think, oh yeah, the Most High is going to come and save us out of this destruction that he's promised for Babylon. Oh, and by the way, Saudi Arabia is no longer at odds with Iran. They're allies now. So that means that all of the Middle East pretty much has aligned themselves against Israel. And the U.S. has partnered themselves with Israel. So that means that the United States right there that you see on that map, and keep in mind all these countries that are blue and yellow will turn red. And when they turn red, you'll realize that the United States has set themselves up against one of the greatest alliances since the communists in the early 1900s and World War II. That will pale in comparison to what you see right here. Nearly 50% of the world's oil production comes from BRICS, not including the countries that'll be joining. They're adding Venezuela, brothers and sisters, one of the biggest producers of oil in South America. They account for almost 50% of the world's population. And they're exporting between one and the other. They're assisting one another in developing more nuclear material. Meaning that Iran is getting shipments of nuclear material to create more nuclear weapons from China. They're going to have nuclear weapons in all of these countries that you see on this map, brothers and sisters. Every single one. And every single one of these countries, remember what the Most High said. He said, set yourself in array. Put yourself in a strategic military position. Remember that word array means set yourself in a strategic position. Brothers and sisters, does this look strategic to you? They're going to be firing missiles from everywhere, brothers and sisters. Elder, what you think?
Following is just to be this close to this information, but to hear it is like, wow, it's mind blowing.
Mm-hmm. Y'all can imagine what I was thinking when I was putting this thing together, when the Most High was showing me this stuff.
Been there, done that.
Now, let's get into what begins to happen. Let's get into this thing unfolding. Put a 1 in the chat if you're following me here. I want to hear from you. What do y'all think about this information that's coming out? Let's go to the next slide. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 16.
Jeremiah chapter 50, starting at verse 16.
The context of the title of this, now that we're going into, this is the first part, right? It says foreigners. The first part was the country setting themselves in array to go to war with Babylon. That's the first part. So they're posturing to go to war. Now we see the foreigners that swarmed and spoiled the country will head for the airports. So all of those mingled people that came in, all of those people that came and swarmed and took all the resources from our people, they're going to see danger and be like, all right, guys, we got everything we can get. I'm going to head out. As y'all see the SpongeBob meme, I'm going to head out. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 16, Elder.
Jeremiah chapter 50, starting at verse 16.
Uh-huh.
Cut off the sower from Babylon.
Cut off the sower from Babylon. What is that talking about? Who are the people that sow? Farmers. Notice how we have less and less farmers in the States than we've ever had. What else does he say? Read.
And him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest.
And the people that are taking in the goods that we produce. How many of y'all know that majority of our goods don't even come from here? We don't have farmers anymore, brothers and sisters. Read.
For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people.
They shall turn everyone to his people. So, in the next phase of its fall, Babylon will begin to rid itself of farmers. Anybody notice how last year there was miraculously egg farms exploding, cattle dying, crops being lit on fire on purpose? Anybody notice that last year? Right? Anybody? I'm sure y'all noticed that. It says, for fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people. They're going to begin to look to their own nation. You're going to start seeing people segregate themselves. Anybody knows the race baiting that's been happening in the United States? Islamophobia. They killed, 3 black people died over there in Israel. The white versus black thing coming back up again. People are going to start turning to their own people. But then what are they going to do? Read, Elder?
Going to back up a little bit. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people.
For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to their own people. Read.
And they shall flee everyone to his own land.
They shall what?
Flee everyone to his own land.
Oh. But you got people saying, oh man, we ain't supposed to flee. Apparently the Gentiles got the message. They're fleeing. So brothers and sisters, I'm going to tell you, like this scripture says right here, when you start seeing all these people, all these foreigners that have moved in, start moving out, don't move back in. Get on a plane with them. You're going to have a lot of black folk that are like, oh, they finally leaving. We can move back into Section 8. All right. You better be right on the plane with them people. It says that for fear of the oppressing sword, they know that war is coming. And because they know that war is coming, their countries are going to recall them. They're going to say, start coming home. We've got everything that we can get. And when you start seeing them get on planes, when you start seeing your foreign doctors, I used to work with Dr. Gupta, and Dr. Gupta's gone now. When you see Dr. Gupta disappear, it's time to go. Elder, there's a comment in the chat. Go ahead and put that up on the screen real quick.
Okay. All right. This one?
Yeah. Babylon is all nations, the old heaven and earth that has died. Prove it.
I could have sworn we just addressed this in the beginning.
Oh, we did.
You still want this?
The old heaven and earth that has died? No, brothers and sisters. The scriptures say that they have drinking the wine of their fornication. All nations have committed fornication with her. Not all nations are her. There's a difference. There's a difference. Okay, you can go ahead and take that down. Just wanted to address that. Any brothers? Okay. All right. Go ahead and take that comment down. Just wanted to address that right there real quick. So now we revisit in Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 16, the influx of foreigners. So you're going to start seeing the development of race against race, nation against nation, causing for foreigners and the citizens within the United States to segregate themselves. They're going to separate themselves from one another. Right? And when they start to see resources tightening, can't find as much food on the shelves, can't get access to much water, maybe get put on a curfew, maybe another quarantine, who knows? They're going to look at this and say, Risk reward, it's time to go. When the dollar crashes, they're going to see the dollar beginning to crash. They're going to see war on the horizon. And they're going to say, you know what? I can't even make money here no more. I might as well just slide. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 8.
Jeremiah chapter 51, starting at verse 8.
If you're looking for a congregation in your area, send an email to houseofjudah.elders@AOL, and we'll speak to you there. Go ahead, Elder Salakia.
Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed.
Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. That means that this is going to be something that was developing. The fall is going to be swift, but it has taken blows for a long time. How do we know this? Read.
Howl for her. Take balm for her pain.
Take balm for her pain. What is that? It's a healing ointment. Read.
If so be, she may be healed.
If so be, she may be healed. Read.
Verse 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she was not healed.
So think about what's happening, what it's talking about here. It says that the United States fall was swift, right? Or it's suddenly fallen. And the reason for that is because over time, she's taken so many hits. Economically, militarily, morally. All of these are things that cause her pain. And see, all the other nations, they see it. That's why they said, we've tried to heal her. It's like being in a fight, getting punched, boom, 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 and you putting Band-Aids on it, right? You have fights back to back to back to back. Eventually, all those blows are going to catch up to you, and in that last fight, you're going to go down in a couple of seconds. They were no longer able to keep her alive. They said, if we could heal her, we would. If we could fix this, we would. Because guess what? The money is so good. That's what the foreigners are saying. The money is so good here. If we could fix it, we surely would fix it. Read, Elder.
Forsake her, and let us go everyone to his own country.
They said, because the wound is not healed, because we can't heal her, forsake her. Let's go back home. Let's go back to our own countries. So Khan, this Ariala in the chat, you're absolutely right. Keep in mind, brothers and sisters, this lesson right here, the elder can attest to this. How old was I when I started constructing this lesson?
Well, like 16, 15, 16?
I was 16 years old when I started constructing this lesson. This is all information that I was studying back then, and it's coming full circle today. That's 7 years later, brothers and sisters. 7 years. Con. They said, you know what? We tried to fix her, and we can't. So abandon her. Let's go back to our own countries. Meanwhile, black people sitting there like, yeah, we get our country back. Brothers and sisters, that's like when you see birds all leave one area and go somewhere else. You know something's coming, right? That means it's time to go. You see all the animals going in the direction? I'm following them. That's exactly what you're going to need to do when these foreigners start getting up and leaving. They're going to say, you know what? Cut our losses. Y'all going to look at it like, yeah, we get to move back into Section 8. Others of us that are wise and listen to the words of the Most High are going to say, you know what? Let me get on a plane with them. Read.
For her judgment reacheth unto heaven,
Mm-hmm.
and is lifted up even to the skies.
It said that her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. What does that mean? It's a mushroom cloud, brothers and sisters. Radiation, all kinds of things just everywhere. They say, you know what? It's about to go down. It's time to go. They're about to close the gates. Speaking of closing the gates, Elder, let's go to the next slide.